go. Yeah, I've seen some of your like posts and stuff, and have like met you through like social media.
Yep.
But I haven't really got to actually meet you before. So, are you like from Ocoee or
I actually live in Georgia. I
Georgia?
live,
So,
yeah, I'm like an hour and 20 minutes from Chattooga and like
okay,
2 hours from McCoy. I'm not far from McCoy. That is my favorite play boating spot, but
what? Not the Chattahoochee?
I mean, even like upper hooch is like class two. Like there's nothing on the hooch that's like,
Oh, I mean that good wave.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we just call that Columbus. Yeah, I've been down there. I have surfed good wave. I've gotten thundered there.
This is like my first year kayaking and not just swimming rivers. So I've been like seen Gore, seen OBJ, seen like Tallulah, getting ready, man. I've swam the entire Gully multiple times, maybe about 15 times in total. I've
Upper?
river, huh?
Upper?
Yes, I've also done marathons, but I only ever got hurt on an upper run. So that was before I could kayak. I just chose to swim rivers. I've swam the Ocoee, I've swam like the Tellico, and a few other just like class two stuff. But the Golly was really like my long-term goal that I never thought I could accomplish. But that was really my set stone.
Good Lord.
Yeah, man.
And so is this how it happened? Were you swimming? Or was
Yep.
this
Look around, you find out.
so you were swimming upper Golly?
Yep. And what happened was in the second drop of Lost Paddle, there's a really big rock, and I fell onto that rock really hard. Most of the time when you're swimming like Golly Rapids, you have to swim far beneath the waves, because you don't have a long time to hold your breath, right? So the faster you get through the rapid, the less you got to worry about holding your breath. And you go a lot faster when you're under the waves because they'll like catch you and kind of push you back.
Yeah.
So push you out of your line. So most of the time you just dive into like a deep aerated highway, and it's like light colored, and you just stay in there. Have you ever watched Nemo?
Ha ha! Righteous! Righteous!
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the turtles are riding those like
Oh,
highway.
yeah.
It's just like that, right? You just dive into that highway and you'll pop up at the end of the rapid. And it's really mind-boggling because you got a lot of faith in your ability to read.
Yeah,
But
what if you take the wrong channel?
well, that's what happened. Really, you have to read the right channels. If you take the wrong channel, that's whenever you're coming against that class 5 consequence where you could easily end up in an undercut. Or what usually happens though is like, here, give me one second.
You're all good.
Yeah, what usually happens though is like you'll pop up, or you'll feel make that decision wrong, and then you'll pop off the wall. Whoa, I need to get away from this undercut, or my like trajectory is starting to be way out of whack. I need to get way over there, something like that. But
So you're under the water. You're looking literally for a channelized flow of water.
yeah,
In my mind, I'm picturing like it's like a movie. You've come to three doors.
yeah, it
You have
really
to
is.
pick the right door or you die.
Yeah. And when you get out of the door, you'll see like dark green water. And then you'll look to your like left because you'll be exiting on the right, and you'll look and you'll see like this wall of bubbles that's just going really fast. And that's when you're like, I have to get back in there. So you dive back into it. It's a whole different world. Like a different level of reading water is reading underwater scenes.
So that's what it's called. It's an underwater scene.
That's what I've called it. It's like an underwater high. All the deep water goes there, and if you're in it, you go fast. You go real fast. But what happened in my case was it was like maybe my 9th or 10th time swimming. I never got hurt before. I had clean lines every time, but I got really confident on that last one. And I hit a cross seam, because sometimes the seams will split or like fork whenever it gets shallow or there's some sort of big object or obstacle. And that cross seam shot me maybe like 20 feet to the right. And when I popped up is when I realized I was too far to the right. And at that point, I'm landing on this rock that's like the size of a car. And I like try to push my body away from it out of reaction, because I'm head first, so I saw it and it was like coming at me really quick.
You're going head first?
Yeah, I was like pretty much like, you go really fast, so you only have like a second to like react, and it's like coming at your face while you have a tempered glass goggle system on, so you're like terrified that you're gonna break your face into 1,000 pieces or like get knocked out or whatever. So I like shoved my body away from it, but when I shoved my body away, my feet like kicked out, because I had my feet like that, so they kicked out. And that's when I just like kicked it straight in the shin, and it like shattered my like the front of my shin, and it really messed my leg up. I still have like a big like scar and a knot where it happened. But past that point,
you're underwater.
Yeah,
You just kicked a rock at like 100 miles per hour. Your
and I
leg
had to
is scattered.
Swim
and
the
you're still underwater.
Yep, that's the worst part about swimming, is you can never get out when you want to get out. So it's all about just controlling your like brain.
Yeah,
it's like eliminating fear. But
so what happens next?
well, I remember I popped up, and it's like the second drop has like some calmness after it. After like a little bit of a beat down in the third drop, I learned the art of limp swimming. So I finally get past the third drop and eddy out, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, Jesus, my leg hurts, and it was when I was a little bit more dumb about it too. So I was rolling alone. I didn't really have anyone in my group, because it's hard to find people to swim with, right? And
well, yeah, psycho.
so I'm sitting there on this just big rock, like holding my leg, and my wetsuit got like, it was scraped open. Like there was a huge chunk of my wetsuit missing, and I just saw blood like leaking out of it. And I'm sitting there just looking at it, and I'm like, Jesus, this is the most my leg has ever hurt, And I'm sitting there thinking, and I don't have shoes. I'm wearing flippers and I'm barefoot. So I'm like, how do I get out of this? I'm like, am I going to hike 5 miles down something I've never been through? Like it hurt to walk. So of course, at that point, I decided my like easiest way out was to finish the lap. So at that point, like I swam, of course, to the takeout. I ran into a few kayakers, but never any raft support. And it was when I got to that takeout, though, man, I felt lucky. I felt like I really used up like a life there, and that I was lucky to be alive, that I could swim through like all sorts of like dangerous rapids with just my hands. And it was a little bit of a limp swim. Probably the scariest though is Iron Ring.
That's a rapid on upper?
Yeah, it's one of the class 5s.
Okay.
It's one there's pretty much just like a big drop off into a massive hole, and then there's pour overs and undercuts on the banks. So you got to throw your body like a football and get in between that.
Jesus.
It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun that golly season. There's really probably the best part about swimming is really when everyone looks at you, because they're always like, he's in the water, throw him a rope. And then I'll like duck dive and then flick my fins up in the air. And then they're like, okay, he doesn't need us.
Wait.
Great.
Wait, he's supposed to do this?
Yeah, right.
What do the squirt boaters think of you?
Squirt
Have you ever
boaters
had a conversation?
Yeah, I've hung out with a few squirt boaters, and it's always funny because I feel like they're more in danger than I am. Like,
what?
yeah, they like.
I don't even know which.
I have done like dives with squirt boaters before. I love jumping into sea, just swimming to the bottom of like that current. You can get like really deep sometimes, especially at Golly. And I've actually like dived down with one before, and I thought it was going to be fun until he started spinning, and then it was like a helicopter blade. And I was, he's going to cut my neck off, man. Like, it was, but
How
really,
long can you hold your breath?
Huh?
How long can you hold your breath?
Well, see, I can hold my breath maybe for like 50 seconds doing nothing, but when you're swimming and stuff, that's when that timer goes down a lot.
Yeah.
Really, I'd say probably the longest I ever stayed underwater at the Golly was maybe 20-25 seconds.
Yeah, but when you're underwater and you have all that shit, that scene, it does go fast.
It goes by faster than you would think, mostly because
to me, I feel like it would be like an eternity. Like, I'm probably gonna die down here now. Like,
I'm gonna die now, probably.
I've definitely goofed off a lot. I did so many stupid things at Golly just because people encouraged me to. No one ever encouraged me to swim it. They told me I was going to die. But you know what the box is at Sweets Falls? There's like a really big spire rock, and at one point I swam up to it and hugged it, just because, like, why not, you know? And that was one of those moments where you get humbled very quickly. But it's really nice to see that deep under the water because it's so calm, especially in like a class 5 rapid. You expect the bottom of the like bed is just as violent as the top of the water, but it's not. It's actually very tranquil and calm. So when you're holding your breath, nothing really scares you except yourself. So you have to like control your thoughts and be like, I've done this before. I'm in the right place. And this is supposed to happen. You know, I'm supposed to be underwater for like 12 seconds. I'm going to pop up and I'm going to be behind Pillow Rock. And you pop up and sometimes you're there, sometimes you're not. But when you're not, usually you have at least a good amount of time because you'll realize I'm out of this aerated highway. I'm in deep green water. I don't know where I am anymore. So you pop up and you look around and then you see it again, go back to it.
I'm like struggling to wrap my head around all.
Top of the water is like breaking on itself. So if you like swim into that, it'll break on you, you know? But at the bottom, nothing happens but movement. So all you do is like you dive and hold your body straight and you're like a bullet just grazing through everything. And of course, like you go really fast. I feel like the has been like swimming in the Golly. But given that you can't really stay fast, but for moments in time, you're the fastest thing in the water.
How are you slowing? How do you shed speed?
Like slow. It's exactly, yeah, you just starfish out. It's really a big thing is what you do with your chest and your legs. So if you like want to slow down, you got to think of like being a parachute. So you spread your arms out, arch your chest up so you have an edge, and kick your feet out so you're like dragging. Usually I'll do that if it's shallow, because if there's any point where I may hit rocks, I want to hit them as slow as possible and with as much like a surface as possible so I can like roll off of it. So you never want to hit rocks fast. I don't really have a fear of swimming. I don't want to swim because I know but it's always in the back of my mind as a backup plan if I need to get
Yeah.
somewhere, but having that backup plan removes the fear of what if I don't hit my roll, what if I can't roll, so when I every time I go upside down, it's just the same steps, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and
Dude, honestly, I feel like you have more survival skills because of this.
yeah,
Like if I swim, I'm not used to it. I don't know all the nuances as to what's happening. For all intents and purposes, you can get a deep breath, dive under all the shit. You know how to read to safety. How, how did you climb out with the broken leg?
like how did I get out of the water?
Yeah.
Between like the third and fourth drop, there's a significant amount of, well, flat water is there. It's harder to catch in a raft, but when you're in the water, you really just roll into eddies. And when you like roll into them, it's almost like falling. If you fall down and roll, all of your momentum stops and the eddy actually pulls you in. So it's really easy to catch eddies with your shoulders.
And then do you just crawled out or?
Up, I crawled onto a rock, rolled over, and took some deep breaths before I like actually got up and looked at my leg and stuff. I just really sat there and looked at it.
And you said you finished the run too.
Yeah, that was the hardest part.
I haven't been to Golly yet. Is the takeout like, is there a hike out? Is this like Chattooga or is this like West Fork? Are you hiking far distances?
It's very remote. The hike out would be about maybe 5 miles, like straight up. So it's just not worth it. Maybe it's closer to 3, 4, but either way, hiking barefoot with a shattered shin just didn't really ring out to me. And I got myself in the mess alone. So I figured my only option was to get myself out alone. But I mean, of course, it's always safer to travel with people. And I know this now, like I don't do solo runs like ever anymore. The last one I ever really did was actually the Golly at high water. But the upper Golly itself is about 11 miles. At that point, I only really had to swim maybe closer to like 5 or 6. But I figured it was easier than walking 5 or 6.
So you broken leg, you still do the rest of the run all the way to the takeout.
Yeah, it was the afternoon, so there wasn't many people out there.
And did any of the kayakers offer to help or do anything?
I didn't really ask them for help because I didn't think they could do anything. I just said, I was like, I got hurt back there. I might roll with you guys for a little bit. But for the most part, they just took off and left me. So I was like, okay. It's sometimes when you're swimming, you go a lot slower than other boats because of the consistency of your speed. You might go faster for a second, but that kayak will go faster than you the entire time. Or at least most of it.
So do you get to the end and then crawl in your car and then drive to the hospital?
No, I just went to my campsite and put duct tape on it because I told myself that if I swam the rest of the Golly, it wasn't that bad. Like I didn't need to go to the hospital. And of course, I'm 20, so my body kind of allows blurry sometimes. So probably wasn't the best option, but it was what I did. And 3 days later, I swam the Golly again.
3 days later.
Yep. But
you ever see the boats above you?
The what?
Do you ever see like kayaks above you?
I've seen a few, but usually not on Golly because a lot of the times when I'm swimming, I'm like way out there, sometimes alone, sometimes far away from kayakers because the swim line I have in mind is the one line I take every time. It's the safest I've found, the deepest water, and the fastest through the rapids.
Dude. And dude, seriously, thank you again. This was awesome. I'm really
Thank you.
looking forward to this edit, man.
Peace out.
Peace out, dude.
Okay, guys. I have to know what you're thinking. Please let me know in the comments. Was this something you would try? Do you think this is crazy? Do you think this is a new thing that people are going to start doing? I don't know. Please, comment section, let me know. Also, stay tuned, guys, because I have a lot of really good content coming soon. I'm really looking forward to bringing that to you guys, so stay tuned for sure. Love your faces.
I got goosebumps.